Alright, I'm playing some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. There's a headshot just after I spawn in. There's another headshot. And I get killed by a character who's totally blinged out with the rapid fire Glock. One thing that Modern Warfare 2 lacks in comparison to Modern Warfare 2019 is the operators. The operators in this game are forgettable. Nowhere near as cool. There's a nice long shot kill with this M16.
Marking sniper system. Moving here. Changing mags.
So this footage is from the launch day of Season 2. There I get killed with the headshot. So you might have noticed some user interface changes. The first thing that I've noticed is that whenever you spawn, or if your character switches weapons, or to a weapon, the fire type appears front and center. There's a nice drop shot kill reaction. But then I get killed, not be able to manage to recoil the M16. That player was briefly stunned too. There you go, fire type, burst fire. That's not an expected change, but it is welcome. Because I know, I'm sure other people have experienced it as well. Like sometimes you'll accidentally switch fire modes without realizing it. Especially if your controller is kind of older and sensitive, like the D-pad inadvertently selects a different direction than what you select. I lose that close range battle. That player knew I was there. They're pointing at my last known position. They even flashed themselves, but I was a little bit too early. Half a second too early. I would have been able to kill that player otherwise. And at this moment, I sense I should put a claymore behind me. But I don't, and it costs me. That player again with the blinged out character. Wrist and finger bling. Gets me with the really rapid fire Glock. We're up by 7. And there's another UI change. Whenever you place a marker, your markers are yellow to differentiate your markers from your teammates' markers. That's pretty helpful. It's another unexpected yet welcome UI change. HUD change. And your teammates' markers match the colors of their player markers, position markers. So my position markers are yellow, my teammates' markers are blue. The player markers are blue as well, indicators, whatever you want to call them. Whenever you highlight an opposing player, that marker is still red. And I'm not sure which team called in this smoke UAV, but it is super thick. My teammate's chasing that player into the smoke, but I get the kill. And my teammate's posting up by that tower. And they're calling out opposing player, but me being inattentive, not realizing it until it's way too late. I do appreciate my teammate trying to warn me, and they avenge me.
Moving here. Friendly UAV on station. Hostile cluster mine deployed.
So speaking of this tower in the center of the map, I don't know exactly when. There's another long shot kill, headshot. Going back to the tower, if you have the tactical camera, you can no longer place it on the tower. Because at the game's launch, you could do that and you would have like a view of a large section of the map. So they've definitely nerfed the tactical camera, and the same nerf applies to other maps as well, like the border crossing map. You can no longer place a tactical camera on the overhead signs to view
Friendly sentry active.
down the entire road.
Troops in contact.
So we're pulling away. We're up by 11. At one point, we were only up by 3 or 4, I think.
Marking enemy.
Getting a lot of mounted long shot and medium distance kills. I can hear a player coming.
Target down.
Friendly UAV online.
Shit, bad guys.
2 headshot kills. I was really nailing the headshots
I'm reloading.
in this match, not really realizing it until I'm watching this footage. There's been a couple instances where being able to detect sound saved me.
Got eyes on a threat.
And I wonder how players who have hearing impairments can resolve that. Maybe if there's like an assisted tool or device, like some kind of sonar,
1-1 requesting recon at this time.
Copy.
like instead of
UAV
like
location. Recon
an
online.
assistive option within the game, maybe there's like a diegetic tool, like an in-universe tool that lets you detect sound. Kind of like a heartbeat sensor, but just for sound. Maybe it would be like active, maybe you have to ping it. Or maybe it just automatically pings,
UAV is
like the
exiting
heartbeat
AO.
sensor.
Marking enemy.
UAV overhead. Friendly
Moving
SAE
here.
on the way.
Enemy changing mags.
Another long shot kill.
Friendly cruise missile deployed.
I don't think I got credit for a long shot kill, but medium to long range distance. You might have noticed that I'm using point streaks. There I get shot. I'm reviving myself. Now you can see my character's legs, but watch this.
Friendly cruise missile approaching target.
It's like those legs stand up, but if those are my legs, how come I'm not standing up? So that's kind of a weird animation glitch. Makes it seem like there's a character beside your character who helps revive them, but that's not the case here. And I've lost my train of thought. What was I talking about earlier?
Ready. Our UAV is orbiting the area.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention, so with Season 2, there are 2 quote-unquote new maps. There's the Dome from Modern Warfare 3. I played a
Mortar support incoming.
few matches on it.
We've got him under
And there's also the museum map from the beta. That's back in this game. This most recent playable version of the game. There are some notable changes, mostly the background. Some of the stairs are now escalators, which seems kind of weird. And there's another headshot kill, and that earns me my sentry gun. But yes, oh yes, definitely, if you can, equip kill streaks, or point streaks, not kill streaks. And you can toggle that in the screen where you pick your kill streak rewards. And that's another UI change. You can see the tags of speakers more easily because there's the black background behind their names. That makes it easier to read. We win by 23. I finished 16-7.